If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would have mentioned these alone." The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at. You may fetter my leg, but Zeus himself cannot get the better of my free will. You don't like to be a slave? Then don't make others a slave. You become what you give your attention to. You are a little soul carrying around a corpse. Whoever is going to listen to the philosophers needs considerable practice in listening. Who is the rich man? He who is content. Whenever someone helps or hinders you, or praises or criticizes you, remember that they see you only through the lens of their own impressions. What you don't desire for yourself, don't desire for others. What concerns me is not the way things are, but the way people think things are. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. We must not believe the many who say that only free people ought to be educated, but we should rather believe the philosophers who say that only the educated are free. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. We are not disturbed by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens to us. To ascend the sun, there is no need for prayer, no need for incantation. It suddenly begins to send its rays for the joy of all. To accuse others for one's own misfortune is a sign of want of education. To accuse oneself shows that one's education has begun. To accuse neither oneself nor others shows that one's education is complete. Those who think they can damage you do not know who you are. They do not know what you think, and they cannot even touch the things which are truly yours. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond our power or our will. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. The fools are cured of grief by time, the clever by their mind. The essence of philosophy is that a man should so live that his happiness depends as little as possible on external things. Suffering arises from trying to control what is uncontrollable or from neglecting what is within our power. So do not expect applause, noise, or praise to do good. Do good deeds voluntarily and be loved like the sun. Small-minded people blame others, average people blame themselves, but wise people see all blame as foolishness. Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourself. People shouldn't have many friends, because you'll get tired of getting knives out of your back. People are happy to find an excuse for their transgressions, while philosophy teaches not to stretch, without thinking, even a finger. Other people's views and troubles can be contagious. Don't sabotage yourself by unwittingly adopting negative, unproductive attitudes through your associations with others. Only the educated are free. On the occasion of every accident that befalls you, remember to turn to yourself and inquire what power you have for turning it to use. Nothing is by its own nature calamitous. Even death is terrible only if we fear it. No matter what happens, it is within my power to turn it to my advantage. No man is free who is not a master of himself. Nature has given men one tongue but two ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak. Men are not afraid of things, but of how they view them. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Know you not that a good man does nothing for appearance's sake, but for the sake of having done right? Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. Keep the prospect of death, exile, and all such apparent tragedies before you every day, especially death. And you will never have an object, thought, or desire anything to excess. Just because someone's single doesn't mean they're lonely. Just like when someone's in a crowd doesn't mean they're not alone. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. It's better to live with one person of high soul and be calm and independent than to lead a miserable life in the society of many. It is unrealistic to expect people to see you as you see yourself. It is our attitude towards events, not events themselves, which we can control. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. It is difficult to both keep your faculty of choice in a state conformable to nature and at the same time acquire external things. But while you are careful about one, you must of necessity neglect the other. It is better to die of hunger having lived without grief and fear than to live with a troubled spirit amid abundance. Is freedom anything other than the right to live as we wish? Nothing else. Interpret events. It is not a pity that a person was born or died, or that he lost his money or home, for all this property does not belong to him. But it is a pity if a person loses his true property, his dignity. Imagine for yourself a character, an immortal personality, whose example you are determined to follow in private as well as in public. If you would cure anger, do not feed it. Say to yourself, I used to be angry every day, then every other day, now only every third or fourth day. When you reach that, offer sacrifices of thanksgiving to the gods. If you would be a reader, read. If a writer, write. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. If you find yourself acting to impress others or avoiding action out of fear of what they might think, you have left the path. If they act or speak from a warped perspective, they hurt themselves, not you. If someone speaks badly of you, do not defend yourself against the accusations, but reply, you obviously don't know about my other vices. otherwise you would have mentioned these as well. If it be said of thee, and if it be true, correct thyself. If it be a lie, laugh at it. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, he was ignorant of my other faults, else he would have mentioned these alone. Hold to your true aspirations, no matter what is going on around you. He who is not happy with little will never be happy with much. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Happiness is attained not by the fulfilling of men's desires, but by the removal of desire. Good luck frees many men from punishment, but no man from fear. Give me by all means the shorter and nobler life, instead of one that is longer but of less account. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Events do not just happen, they arrive by appointment. Epictetus, being asked how a man should give pain to his enemy, answered, by preparing himself to live the best life that he can. Envy is the enemy of the happy. Don't seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and all will be well with you. Don't live by your own rules, but in harmony with nature. Do not try to seem wise to others. If you want to live a wise life, live it on your own terms and in your own eyes. Difficulty shows what men are. Circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself. Be careful with whom you communicate, for people tend to imitate habits, and those with whom we interact, we inadvertently adopt their interests, their opinions, their values, and their habits. Attach yourself to what is spiritually superior, regardless of what other people think or do. At banquets, remember that you entertain two guests, body and soul, and whatever you shall have given to the body you soon eject, but what you shall have given to the soul you keep always. Asked who is the rich man, Epictetus replied, he who is content. Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him. A smart person fights passion, but a fool becomes its slave. A ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope. Which quote did you like the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on the next video.